It's Sunday, July 21st, 2019. Since yesterday's episode, we've had a Bitcoin death double cross. We have more details about which is our best leading indicator, and I'm going to close off the episode saying that I think Bitcoin is kind of bearish, but it's super good news for the altcoins. Let's jump in all of that and more in today's episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. I invite you to pause the video to read through the disclaimer. Let's just jump right into the charts. Yesterday's episode ended right about here, and we were saying that if prices go up from here, it's really bullish. The MACD indicator was saying green, and the Ichimoku Cloud was saying red, and there was kind of conflicting indicator views. Our RSI was indecisive, our on-balance volume was indecisive, but today, after this little bit of extra price data, now we have some more answers from our indicators. This little Bart Simpson formation was a real fake out for a lot of people. There was a ton of liquidated longs as this broke down below here. Really crazy. Let's jump in now and take a look. We're looking at the weekly view of the relative strength index. I was watching what happened in the yesterday's episode. I rewatched it again, and it's pretty much the same that we have this formation. I am expecting this to pull back and that prices would pull back at the same time. Nothing to do with cutting down our bullish stance. We still have lots of bullish as long as we're above this 200 period moving average. Lots of time. Let's zoom in on this because it starts to show us some more information. Triple tops here and things are pulling back. Not so much information here on the daily price, but as we start to move in to the 12-hour time frame, I'm still not seeing the divergence that really gives me an indicator as to where this is going. It's starting to show up here, but once we get into the daily view, now the RSI is starting to reveal some of its secrets, that it's not following along with the price and that things are breaking off. We're not seeing it go up into more and more overbought territory. Going into the weekly view so that we're on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that same break happened in the RSI, where we had the uptrend in the RSI and then poof, it broke right at the same time as the prices. So now we'll observe this over the next few days to see how this plays out. Does it continue breaking down or does it go up from there? So the RSI wasn't the strongest indicator for us here. On the on-balance volume, as we start off in the weekly, we're looking at these big exhaustion candles. We're a little bit less volume as the weeks go along here. Zoom into the daily, we have the triple peaks here, and we had the really good divergence here. It showed up in the RSI on the 1 day and the 12-hour, same as we see here in the on-balance volume. It was a really clear divergence in all three of our indicators as we hit this double top. Then as we're coming down, it's less volume again as we hit this third top, which is just underneath our head and shoulders, just underneath our 1, 2, 3 top formation. Really key that it's coming up there and failing to break through and pulling down. Now I'm zooming in to see the on-balance volume stronger, not bad, and fading off, but not really saying that it's a divergence that is really bearish. Like we have selling here, and more selling here. But we do have up into buying, so it's running out, but let's see on the closer time frames what's telling us here, because this gets more telling. Here we have strong volume, here we have less volume on a higher high. That is a divergence that I'm looking for. And especially on the closer time frames, when we get to the point of a triangle, these become more and more significant, these kind of divergences. And when I take this back out to the 4 hour time frame, it gets more clear that it is a divergence, that there's weaker power here on this point of higher prices. Zoom into the 3 day, it's a little bit more difficult in the 15-minute time frame, but we can see the volume here, less volume here, pretty good selling all the way along. Not completely convincing here at all yet. We can see a little bit of a divergence, a little bit of weakness coming in, but this is not a leading indicator, it is a following indicator. Now the death cross I was talking about is right here. The 12-hour exponential moving average on the 60 and 20 time periods is what I use in my trading. When it crosses over, that's for me to get out of that trade. Then it crossed back positive, then it crossed back negative again. So this double crossing here makes for difficult trading for sure to get a clear decision out of that. Now, let's continue on with the MACD indicator. This is one that was showing positive yesterday, and it's changed a bit here today. Some new information. As we're zooming in on the weekly, we've been watching this histogram get weaker and weaker week by week, and expecting that these exhaustion candles means that it's coming back. Now, when I went into the daily, I was talking about this yesterday and going into this histogram, how it's getting more positive, and that could be the turnaround and, show that things are getting stronger, even though we had this weaker crossover from the top. Now, as I started to pay some more attention, I was thinking, hey, when's the last time we went from this high in the MACD and came down to the base level and crossed below it? What's going on right here? When's the last time we came down from a high? Well, here, it's way back here after this top. We came down from this high. It did some crossing over, but there wasn't much. There was a lot of momentum on the way down. We didn't get a good positive crossover to say that this was stopping from the bear and going to continue on from here. So all of a sudden, these two price charts, these two movements are starting to look eerily similar in the way this is coming back down. And there could be quite a bit more downside on this yet out of this top formation. And it will, it's not a worry until it crosses over that 200 period moving average. So all of a sudden now, the 1-day MACD indicator isn't looking so bullish as it was before. Let's zoom into the 12-hour now, because this was crossing over positive, and I was considering this to be bullish yesterday as we were watching this. Now pulling back to the 12-hour time frame, it isn't as clear that we are going to be going bullish yet. There's a lot more detail that we could see this weakening off and coming back and crossing back again. So this isn't as certain as it was, even though this crossover is kind of bullish right here, and I'll still look at it as bullish. And until things bounce here and fail, this may be our leading indicator that is sort of hidden. It's right there, but other things are sort of pulling away from its validity. So I love to do these videos so that I can see it later. Here's something though, when we get into the 4-hour, we can see this is a clear crossover, negative histogram. Boom, there's, it's been easing back, and now it's crossed over. So this is one of our earlier indicators. Kind of a top formation here. The 200 period moving average is offering crazy resistance right there. So all of those things add together into a feeling of this edging over the top now and not coming up from here. Let's zoom in. Because the good stuff is still coming. Now on this 1-hour time frame, here is the crossover and a crossover. The important thing is that this is higher highs and these are lower highs. That is a bearish crossover. That's a bearish divergence, and we see things easing off here as well. So, hey, thanks for joining in. And if you haven't already, be sure to come over and join us on our Discord chat, because we talk about this stuff all through the day, not just during the live streams here. Now, I want to go on to the most important one for me that I've been finding over and over again. It's getting more and more important. And as I was getting ready for the video today, I was watching yesterday's video and I started to pay more close attention to what's the cloud doing compared to the prices in the past. Since we saw this correlation with the last run up, let's see what the cloud is doing last time. In the weekly view, we can see this trailing, whatever line this is called, and I don't know the name of it offhand. It's always following in the uptrend. It's quite a ways back, and the cloud is quite a ways away. Just like we have here, the cloud is quite a ways away, and this line is way back. However, as we topped out now, this line started to come in and mess around inside the price levels, not way back behind it. And so at the same time, the cloud went wider here. Instead of a thin on the way up, it went wider and sideways. Now I'm going to pay attention to this and see what's going on. Back in the daily view, let's make sure I can scroll this properly. In the daily view, we can see this trailing line came in inside the prices and was edging down all the way as this price is making the top formation. We can see that the blue line and the red line were crossing over. That's the conversion line and the baseline. And we went into the cloud and came down up and touched underneath it, which is a major sell signal. Down she went up into the cloud, double topped, major sell signal. All the way through here, in the daily, that cloud stayed right above our prices. The prices poked into it, but that stayed bearish all the way along until we broke. The Ichimoku Cloud was way ahead of the game until prices broke and told us. So now let's go into today. We see that we've got this thin cloud and it's gone fatter and sideways. We see that the trailing line is now coming into the prices and cutting below. So this is, if history is any indicator, we've got something going on here. We've also see this crossover of the conversion line and the baseline. So all of these things are adding up to be what I've learned to be bearish for the Ichimoku Cloud. Zoom into the 12-hour time frame. Now it's getting to where you can see the twist of the cloud to the negative. We've had the crossover of the baseline and the conversion line. Prices have come down. They're poking up against the cloud, and the conversion line and baseline have not crossed positive. Our trailing line is cutting through prices and coming into the cloud. This is all telling me bearish and sell signals, and strong ones from here. And I'm not going short on the market myself. This is just observation. Now into the 4-hour time frame, it's a little bit more positive. We had the positive crossover here. It's up into the cloud, but as the baseline crosses over the conversion line again to the negative, that's going to be a more confirmation of the sell signal just below these levels. And I'm certain that our RSI is going to confirm, the MACD on the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame are going to confirm these sell signals stepping in here. Zoom into the 1-hour time frame just for looking at it. It is above the cloud right now. We had the crossover and it's poking back into the cloud. So this would confirm again down below the cloud. All of these are all confirming negative. This is the only one that would be a positive. It's up through the cloud. If it bounces and continues above the cloud, of course, that'll be positive. And all of the indicators will need to be reviewed again if that happens. Then we'll have to come back and completely reevaluate everything. So if you see one video title saying, oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, the world is just beginning. Oh, it's the end of the world. That's what happens in the prices. You've got to be ready for all, and it changes your game every time something new comes in. You have to rewrite everything and start all over again sometimes. So be ready for that. Now, I want to finish off saying that even though it looks like a top formation in Bitcoin, looking at the Bitcoin dominance coming from the April the 1st run all the way up into where it is now, it's making a top formation. And price charts work on bottom formations and top formations, and when they break those, it's an important trend change. And so when this changes, it's going to be really great for the alts. As this changes from these levels, should it change and start coming down, all of the alts are going to break out of the bottom formations that they're in right now, and it's going to be a blast off. And of course, I made some great profits on that the last few bull markets, and I want to do it again. So I'm studying it very hard. And you may know about our patron Bull Market Watch chart. You can see how we can markets are changing from neutral to more and more markets are going from bearish to neutral now on Poloniex. It's not quite as strong yet on Binance, but we can see that we have now 44 markets in the neutral stance, and these are the ones that are going to be the first wave of the cryptos to take off when there is a bull market to take off. And this is phenomenal data, fantastic research. I'm really keen to keep it up, and if you want more access to all this data so that you can see inside all of the studies that we're doing here, you can see where the bearishness is, where the bullishness is, and you can cut that right down now. So instead of having to scan through this whole chart and see where are the 3 markets that are in alert status on Poloniex, now we have a filter where you can just click on one link and you immediately see which are the 3 markets that are in alert status on Poloniex, which are the markets that are in alert status on Binance. And this is updated daily. You can get this information and add it to your trading research. And if you're interested in that, head over to our Patreon channel and join us. I'm looking to get 20 people to join us on the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet so that I can hire a couple graduates from our trading course to help me make sure that this is maintained all the time. So I invite you to come and check that out. You'll support this live stream and our daily efforts to keep up on it, and you'll get some phenomenal information as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you guys being here for this live stream today. Hope to see you over on our Discord chat. All of the best in your Bitcoin trading. Bye for now.